Started going off. I was like, this is my field. Can't nobody count me out. And I was just going out. It was just in the moment. At that moment, I didn't even know that it was that far, but I knew when it left my hand. If you watch the video, you can hear me say, let's go. And I already knew. I was just like, that was a big one. And then when they said it, I just went blank and just started going off. And I was just like thinking about just the times like to get me there. Like I knew I had it. It's finally here. And then throughout trials, like I was just spot on, like every throw, like even for qualifying. And you have to have a standard. You have to hit a standard to automatically go to finals. And so I hit it on the first one. And I was just like, my thrills just came. And I was just like, yeah, this is my.
Yeah, so I got a follow up to that. In training, did you ever hit that number before? Or did you go past that number? Wow.
As my career went, I feel like I manifested a lot of stuff. Before I was sponsored by Adidas, at the time I was sponsored by Adidas, I was telling them I'm going to be sponsored by Adidas. I actually spoke it, and then one day I look back, I say, you know what? I spoke this into existence because I told myself I was going to be sponsored by Adidas. And then at that time I was like, yes. So you just speak life into you. You got to take it serious, and she just like went off on me. But I always say to my athletes, if a coach doesn't get on you or not hard on you, it's they don't see either one your potential or they don't care. You gotta take it serious. And she just like went off on me. But I always say to my athletes, if a coach doesn't get on you or not hard on you, it's they don't see either one your potential or they don't care.
That's a really tight margin.
Yeah.
It's like that's an 8-pound margin. Like that's I can drop 8 pounds in a day, literally, right, from water weight and all of that. But that's a very tight margin. How do you control that? How do you keep that under control?
It's so hard. It's so hard to control it, especially when you can feel the difference, especially because gaining the weight from being a mother, I can definitely tell the difference. I'm just like, what is it? So you have to watch what you eat. I had a bad habit of eating bread and sweets. I just can't get over it.
It's the carbs, man. That's the carbs. Everyone loves them, you know.
And sometimes I'm just like, I have to stop. So I have to go maybe a week or two without eating bread. It's just I gotta cut either one or the other. So you can definitely tell the difference between, oh my gosh, my life. I had an experience at the Olympic trials where one of the athletes didn't do as good as he wanted to. And then his mom was like, my mom was like, what happened to all that training you did? I'm just like, that is not what you do in this moment when somebody you go years and years for one moment. Years. You go 4 years for this one moment. And a parent's just like, what happened to that training? Sometimes it's not going to happen how you want it to, but it's just like, I would have been very upset if my mother did that after I put my life for this 10 seconds.
Welcome to the Apex Lifestyles Podcast. I'm your host, Bob GDMD, and I'm here as always with my co-host,
Dennis V. How are you, Bob? What's going on?
I'm doing great, man. I'm on the road to recovery after a long 9-month prep, and then doing the hard 16-week prep, and then the peak week. It's all done. Got on the stage, did my thing. I did a thing, you know.
Bob, props to you. A transformation that went well beyond 200 pounds. When you put a lot of muscle on, you brought home the hard way. You brought home the trophies, you did the work, and you continued to do the work. It was a great day to celebrate you and everything you've done and everybody else out there that was transformed. Yeah, but you have made a lot of progress, and you keep doing it.
That was one of the hardest things I've ever done, you know. Other than, building a practice, going to dental school and just building a practice, that was like the next hardest thing.
You like the challenges, that's what it's all about.
Yes, but you know what? Props to all the other competitors that were there. They all had amazing transformations. It was the WBFF Transformation Challenge, and it was put on by bodybuilding great Paul Dillette, and I got to meet him, which is really cool. And my coach Nate Tello was there, and all my friends and family were there, and it was just a fun evening all around. And we topped it off with a Christian gravestone, right?
Sure did, and it was my hometown area, Mohegan Sun. Great venue. So, Bob, there is an Olympian in the house today.
There really is.
We have a powerhouse Olympian in the house. We are blessed to have Jessica Ramsey, who is a 6-time college All-American, begun junior college at South Plain in Texas, where when she was there, she saw her first snow, finished up at Western Kentucky, And if I'm getting this right, the first woman in Western Kentucky University to qualify NCAA in 3 events: discus, hammer throw, and shot put.
Absolute fire.
And then he went on to a professional career. In 2019, earned the bronze medal in the Pan American Games with a shot put throw of 19.01 meter throw. And then set the championship record at the 2021 Olympic trials with a throw of 20.12 meters.
Wow.
Championship record. And competed in Tokyo 2020 Olympics representing the United States in the women's shot put. And she's not done. She's still going. She's getting ready to make her run in another Olympics. And another amazing thing is she is a mother of a beautiful little daughter. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
We're wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. Enjoying life.
Jessica, I'll tell you right now, that is only a piece of you. I mean, your resume just goes on and on and on and on. And it is just a test of your relentless determination, groundbreaking achievements, and just an amazing, amazing individual. And we are blessed to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Jessica Ramsey in the house, people, and thank you so much for coming in. We truly appreciate it, and to be in the presence of greatness is always a pleasure, right?
Thank you.
So let's start back early days in Boynton Beach, Florida, stepping onto the Olympic stage. What pivotal moments in your life fundamentally reshaped your perspective as an athlete?
Say, I got reshaped when I went to Western Kentucky because I always knew I was pretty good because my mom, she did track and field, my dad did football. So the athletics was there. I started off as a sprinter. I think I started around 6 or 7 years old with running. So I started off as a sprinter until genetics kicked up and I got a little bigger. So it was like, hey, this is the shot put, this is the disc. And so I started doing those and I was actually pretty good at it. So I went ahead and I was watching the Olympics as a little girl and I was like, I'm going to make it to the Olympics. And then I just kept going. But I had this one moment with Ashley Kovacs now and she made me cry in her office. She was like, I'm going to call your mom. You got to take it serious. And she just like went off on me. But I always say to my athletes, if a coach doesn't get on you or are not hard on you, is they don't see either one, your potential, or they don't care. Ashley Kovacs was a caring coach. And so she kind of helped me see my actual potential. And so I actually took throwing serious my last year in college. And then she helped me get into my first professional meet 2014, 2015. And so from there, I just was like, okay. And then I don't even think at that moment I kind of actually knew what I was capable of doing, but as I continue to go, it's helping me. So,
you know what's interesting is you say that's when you started to take it serious. So yeah. I'm sitting here reflecting, 6-time All-American. That's serious, but what you're saying is you took it to another level.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So as you moved from that college to professional athlete, what was the change in terms of kicking it up a notch? Talk about that transition, because that must have been pretty intense.
Well, say the change was because Ashley had to go to Ohio, and they didn't take post-collegiate. So she introduced me to Connie Park Smith and John Smith. So they kind of took me in. And I was still kind of in a college atmosphere because they're college coaches. So at that time, I went to Carbondale, Illinois, and there was a professional athlete, which was Gwen Berry and Deanna Price at the time. And so being around different people, actual professional athletes, kind of helped me change. Like, okay, you got to have a different mindset. You're not in college anymore. And so I think just changing the atmosphere kind of helped me, being around different people. And then the potential, because they always had like great athletes. So I would say moving from Carbondale to Mississippi kind of helped that too. And I'm just like, okay, this is serious, because when your coach moves, you move. So you can't sit here and be playing, because when it's time to go, it's go. And so don't waste your time.
Amazing. So let's talk about some college milestones and their impact. Qualifying for the NCAA Outdoor Championship in 3 events is a historic achievement. How did the collegiate success influence your training philosophy and competitive mindset?
I don't even, at that time too, I didn't even know I made it in 3 events because in the discus, I was at the bottom, like the very bottom. And then I hit one big throw and it was like, oh, you made it into it. And I was just like, and I still didn't even it still didn't even regenerate to me. So I'm just like, oh my goodness. So just having the opportunity to continue to not even know what I'm doing, but still continue to get each and every opportunity. It's just like, okay, when are you going to see it? When are you going to see it? And I think at this point, I'm still learning. Like, I'm still learning. Like, I have more. Like, I feel like I have more. And then, so it's just like, it's within me to bring it out.
Can you elaborate on the training that got you there versus training now?
I would say, as far as getting me to my first Olympics,
Yeah.
I had to step outside the box. So we were kind of in a bubble and I knew it was more. So I was doing my training with John. And then I also had Ashley coaching me. And so I would say just stepping outside of the box and doing things that I felt like other people wasn't doing at that time. So I ended up getting a professional trainer. His name is David. He works at NBS Fitness. And I ended up training, doing a lot of going back to training like a sprinter, not a thrower. So there's a difference. Like throwers, I feel like they train power. So I'm more of a fast, explosive thrower. So my thing is speed. So I had to go back to training with speed, power, and body memorization, body mobility, everything. So I think I just stepped outside of the box and did something different from the college aspect into a professional aspect because I was in the college atmosphere still up until 2020. I was still in the college atmosphere. So it's just like, you have to do something different.
So they kind of broke you down.
Yeah.
Broke you down and reshaped your workouts and everything. And how big of a change was that for you? Was that a major shock to the system?
As far as making the Olympic team?
No, the training, how your training really changed. I
actually loved it. I love speed. That's why at a point the hammer was becoming my favorite event because it's so fast. It's fast and you got to be explosive and you have to be into it. So the hammer was becoming my favorite event. So just going back to doing that type of training, I actually love it. I love it. I hate it in the moment, but I actually love it.
So I want to ask you a question. When you hit that historic, record of 20.12, right? What was going through your mind at that Olympic trials?
It started going off. I was like, this is my field. Can't nobody count me out. And I was just going out. It was just in the moment. At that moment, I didn't even know that it was that far, but I knew when it left my hand. If you watch the video, you can hear me say, let's go. And I already knew. I was just like, that was a big one. And then when they said it, I just went blank and just started going off. And I was just thinking about just the times to get me there. Like I knew I had it. It's finally here. And then throughout trials, I was just spot on. Every throw, even for qualifying, and you have to have a standard. You have to hit a standard to automatically go to finals. And so I hit it on the first one. And I was just my throws just came. And I was just yeah, this is my moment.
Yeah, so I got a follow-up to that. In training, did you ever hit that number before? Or did you go past that number? Wow, so that's cool. So it was a surprise to you too, right?
No, I didn't.
That's fantastic.
I didn't, but the practices before competition, I knew I was on because my practices were going. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm throwing different. So I knew I was peaked out. So you have a time right now I'm in base training. Lifting heavy, doing everything heavy. Then when it comes down to bigger competitions, I kind of drop my reps, my weight, and just so that I can move fast, feel good. And then during that moment, I was like, yeah, I'm feeling good. So whatever happens, I go in. Anything that I do, I always have a positive mindset because I'm always hard on myself. I have other people who are hard on me. So I try to be positive through it all, even though sometimes you can't help it.
Yeah. So how much does visualization go into your training? Your use visualization at night before you go to bed, or are you going through the motions of doing the shot put, discus, hammer, all of those things in your mind?
Yeah, I actually do it, and sometimes I'm not even in my mind. Sometimes I have videos where I'm up at night doing drills in my house. I have doing drills in the kitchen, and at that time, now that we speak about that, I need to get back to doing that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely need to get back to doing that, but it was not a moment that you didn't catch me doing like a drill or just trying to make sure that I'm hitting that one position. So I would say that and doing affirmations, just speaking it to myself. So the best thing you can do is just always speak life into yourself.
Dennis, she's taking a chapter out of your book with the affirmations, right?
That I am big on affirmations, daily affirmations. I'm one of those people who believes every day, and I've been an educator for years. I tell my students, when you wake up in the morning, look yourself in the mirror, say something positive, but also give yourself a little gut check. Am I going to be the best version of myself today? At the end of the day, reflect. Did I do my best? Only you in the mirror know what happened. I mean, you can fake it till you make it, whatever, but I'm really big on that.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely. You do the affirmations, you speak life into yourself, and you put the work in. It's gonna come. Most of the time, most people want it. I want it now, but sometimes it may take a while.
Can you repeat that for the listener?
Yeah, that's fine.
Like you do the affirmations, but what was the other part?
You got to put the work in also.
You got to put the work in.
Do this and think it's going to just drop out of the air.
Right, yeah. So affirmations are cool, right? But that's only half of it.
Jessica, that's like a commercial. I love that. I absolutely love that. We trademarked that, Jessica, right after it. So listen, I'm for myself, and this puts a little age stamp on me, 1984. I was sitting up in Vermont, and we were on a vacation, and we watched the 84 Olympics. And I remember... it was like Carl Lewis. It was a really packed with some serious talent in Los Angeles. And the thing I always remember and I love the best about the Olympics is the opening ceremony.
Yes.
What was that like for you when you heard United States? No way! What happened?
Because it was during COVID. That was during COVID year. So everything in 2020 was not like how it was supposed to be. So I still cherish the moment, but as far as opening ceremony, having stands in the fan, we didn't have any of that. So our fans were other sports that was there. So we couldn't have family or anything because it was during the COVID year. And so I'm just like, I didn't get that moment. So I think that's another reason to push for the 2028 LA Olympics. Just hang in there just so I can get that moment. This past 2024 Olympics that was in Paris, I felt like if I had just a few more months, I would have made that team. Just felt a little rushed back after having baby in 23 of June and then just trying to get back to it, putting a lot of pressure on myself. But I finished 5th at the Olympic trials last year. So that's a big accomplishment just coming back and not having
Huge. Yeah. Huge accomplishment coming off of maternity. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Dennis, your next one.
Yes. 2020 Olympics, you talked about one little challenge. We're, as athletes, you love the fans. You love to feel that energy. Couple challenges happened throughout the Olympics for you. Did you have an unexpected hurdle where there was a foul attempt when you were doing a throw?
Yeah, at the Olympics, I had a foul attempt. I think I was kind of in my mind, not really like starstruck or just in the moment. I think I got in the moment and I needed to get out of the moment, execute, and then get back into the moment. And I kind of was like, I finally made it. So it's like I got there and then I was just like, so that was a learning lesson also.
How did that help you grow both as an athlete and as an individual?
What was the question?
How did that help you grow both as an athlete, as an individual, that moment?
It helped me grow as far as knowing, although you still made it to where you wanted to go, finish. And then enjoy it. So it's like still enjoy the moment, but know that there's still a job that needs to be done. So I think it helped me grow as far as enjoying the sport more, but still knowing there's a job that needs to be done. So I know at times you can just put so much pressure because our life was track. So now it's just like track, oh, if it doesn't work out, if it's not what I wanted, as long as I knew I gave it 100%, I still have a daughter to go to. And it makes me, and that is just like, oh, okay. So,
And that's a great perspective. In an era where there's a lot of discussions about athletes' mental health and growing, what personal strategies do you use to maintain the balance between the rigorous training and your emotional well-being?
yes, I would say I do things outside of track. So I can't just be like, track, wake up, track, morning track. And then when something goes bad or a competition doesn't go my way, it's just like, what do I do now? I have something else to fall back on. So we used to breed dogs. I used to breed dogs. I coach. I did volunteer work at CASA as a advocate for neglected and abused children. So I kind of took my mind off of track. So I didn't fully take my mind off of track, but I got to a point of, okay, you can't sit here and drown yourself in, dang, what do I gotta do? Dang, I didn't do this. And then I couldn't do it. So it's like I had other things that would take my mind away from it for the moment, but track was the priority. So I think with mental health, now having like somebody to talk to, having something else to do outside of track, like a hobby. You gotta have a hobby or something that doesn't just, oh my gosh, my life. I had an experience at the Olympic trials where one of the athletes didn't do as good as he wanted to. And then his mom was like, my mom was like, what happened to all that training you did? And I'm just like, that is not what you do in this moment when you go years and years for one moment. Years. You go 4 years for this one moment. And a parent's just like, what happened to that training? Sometimes it's not going to happen how you want it to, but it's just like, I would have been very upset if my mother did that after I put my life for this 10 seconds.
Yeah, first of all, everybody's a champion that's out
Yes.
there. And you're talking the Olympics, the best in the world. And it's a moment in time. Anything can happen. You can cross the line. You can trip. You talk about ability and performance. Some days you do not perform to the best of your ability. It happens. It's just one of those days. And it's, moments like that can be very tough when something is said in the moment. Those should be moments of comfort, not tearing someone down, and just got to lift people up, which is kind of goes back to what you said before, lifting people up.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to switch gears a little bit to training modality. All right. That's kind of near and dear to my heart, doing things that I've been doing over the past few years. There's been innovations in like training technology, right? Over the years, including, having one of these, right?
Yeah.
So what have you noticed, and what kind of technology have you implemented during your training, and has that changed over time?
So I haven't really been doing anything with like technology. We have this guy named Joe that has these little lasers that capture moments that you can't really capture. So I would say just the upgrade of having the technology to even be able to see things like that. So doing like some vertical jumps. I worked on some vertical jumps and didn't even realize, oh, this is cool. This is something I can do. So I think the technology is kind of helping with the lasers of how the distance and the angle of the shot put, how we throw the angles, what angle is good for the release of a shot put. That is something that I'm actually learning about, that I need to kind of dig more into. So I think that's actually pretty cool too, because
that's athletics meets physics.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool. And then when you're doing your training, right, are you using where you're in the weight room, do you do like a progressive overload kind of thing? Like how does the progression go when you're getting ready?
So when I'm in like my base training, my progression is just like my reps. It just depends on what I'm looking for. So my reps can be like 99987 or 88865, and then if we're getting into a track meet, my reps kind of drop. So I probably go like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just to make my body feel either good or just to prep for it. So it just all depends on if we're prepping to throw good or waiting for that moment to feel better for a track meet.
Yeah. How long is a training block?
So a training block, maybe 3 to 4 months. So base training, just depending on when you set your first track meet. So we kind of base it off of our first track meet.
And then you work backwards.
Yeah. So I'll
Yeah.
probably start training, base training, heavy for 3 months, and then as that meet's coming up, that month before, I'll kind of drop.
Very cool. And then what's the nutrition look like?
Work on that. I've been doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think, I think we're a
I
little
mean,
bit
you got
different from.
but you got to fuel, right? That's the
Yeah.
idea, right? You
Yeah,
got to
definitely. A
fuel
lot of
appropriately.
protein.
Yeah.
A lot of protein. Got to drink your fluids. But I do have my little sweets here and there. Getting better on that. So I
Yeah.
kind of notice a difference, like eating sweets and not eating sweets. So I have to kind of slow down on that. Can't have that many sweets during
Yeah.
this season.
And how impactful is, I know I'm going down, I'm kind of
This is great.
I'm going down the rabbit hole, right? Because this is kind of near and dear to my heart. So when a power lifter or an Olympic lifter is working out, I can imagine that, or when they're training, how much does personal weight, go into how much power you can achieve on the field?
Oh, so that's a good question. So I work out at a gym with a lot of bodybuilders. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
different.
like,
That's a different animal, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I can get in the weight room and I'm bench pressing like 225 and I'm just going, and they'll look at me like that doesn't count or something like that because I'm not pausing and going.
Yeah. It's
And
a
some
whole
of them are
different
small,
ballgame.
some of them are big. I know I talked to a few of them, and they say when they bulk up, they feel terrible, but they're able to get a lot of weight. But then
Right.
when they're ready to cut down, they feel better, but they can't get the weight that they want.
Right.
Yeah, so I've been noticing that too.
How does that translate to a shot put or hammer throw?
I think it kind of. I would say when I'm bigger, I'm slower, so I can't move how I want to and throw how I want to. So my body weight, I have to be between 210 to 218 to feel and throw my best. But
That's
then,
a really tight margin.
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
that's 8 pound margin. Like I can drop 8 pounds in a day. Literally, right? From water weight and all of that. But that's a very tight margin. How do you
Yeah.
control that? How do you keep that under control?
It's so hard. It's so hard to control it. Especially when you can feel the difference. Especially because gaining the weight from being a mother, I can definitely tell the difference. I'm just like, what is it? So you have to watch what you eat. I have a bad habit of eating bread and sweets. I just can't get over it.
It's the carbs, man. That's the carbs. Everyone loves them. You know.
And sometimes I'm just like, I have to stop. So I have to go maybe a week or two without eating bread. It's just I got to cut either one or the other. So you can definitely tell the difference between it.
Now, this is my last question on this, and then I'll turn it over to Dennis. But do you implement creatine into your regular supplementation protocol?
I used to, until I started seeing myself kind of like get
a little
bulky.
bulky? Yeah.
I started seeing myself getting bulky. I was like, is this affecting me or helping me? So it helps in the weight room. But as far as like throwing, I think it kind of slows me down. I'm still trying to figure that out. So I don't take it. Yeah, I don't take it as much, but probably when I go to the weight room, I probably add it into my my energy drink.
Yeah, it's interesting that's, you have to probably play a very fine line between speed and power.
Yes.
For sure, right? And you telling me about that window of where you're best at for weight is telling, for sure. And the creatine does increase, your power, but I don't know that it does anything for speed. And it definitely has you put on 5 or 10 pounds of water, for sure.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. You can feel it too. Like you can see it and feel it.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you for that. That was really insightful. I've never had the opportunity to speak to an Olympian about their training protocols. So that was really cool. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, fortunately, women's sports is beginning to gain unprecedented recognition worldwide, as it should have for a long time. I mean, I follow the NBA. Caitlin Clark, Angela Reese has brought it to a whole different level. The influx of social media has really done a lot as well. What role do you see playing inspiring the next generation of female athletes, and what changes do you hope to see?
I hope to see the changes of women just expressing themselves, being who they want to be, not being nervous if if there's like gender roles with something, or so let's speak on pregnancy. It's like pregnancy and tracking or in any sport was kind of looked down upon. So it's just like just having the guts to be like, okay, this is something, this is what I want to do, and not feel bad about it, and not beat themselves up about it, or go into depression. A lot of women go into depression because they feel like they have to choose. So knowing that you don't have to choose, you can do it both. You can, like I said, everybody has their own journey. So regardless of if you take it, you're going to have your own journey during this. I like to reach out to the younger generation just because I feel like that's where it starts, and I absolutely love children. Just continue to motivate them. Just continue to push and be who you are, and never let anybody else's success determine your future. I will always preach that. Any question that is asked, I will always say, never let anybody else's success determine your future.
That's a great quote, right?
It's unbelievable. Listen, we're going to be pinning these everywhere. These are really good. And I love that you are the individual that is in charge of you're in control of your own journey. Yeah, go for it. Definitely. And you make your choices. That is absolutely amazing. We spoke about overcoming adversity and challenges, which is interesting sometimes. They see you on the Olympic stage, but there's also adversity and challenges that come whenever you're trying to reach, which we talk about here, our apex, your pinnacle. How do you integrate? Do you ever integrate mindfulness into your training regimen to stay focused?
Sometimes, I'll have my speaker and have like motivational speaking as I'm throwing. So sometimes we have this loud music going and this and that, and sometimes you have those moments where you just need motivational speaking or something soft at that time. So I would say, yeah, definitely have to.
Well, you mentioned music. What's your go-to jam to get you motivated?
I would say I listen to maybe Rod Wave.
There you go.
J Moss. He's a gospel singer.
All right.
Or sometimes I kind of I'm just in my own head.
That's good. That's good. Rob Wave's in my territory. Absolutely. Sure. That is phenomenal. So earlier on, I mean, you talk about COVID, and it's a word that we probably don't really want to talk about anymore. And it really reshaped COVID-19. The pandemic reshaped the athletic landscape for a while. What lasting impacts do you anticipate for the future of track and field, kind of based on how COVID went?
Just seize the opportunity. Like, we had the time to be off. Seize the opportunity. When we have those times where you're in the house or you can't do this or do that, seize the opportunity. Not only in track, but just in life. Think about things financial, whether it's financial or life after track, because I think I'm having the thoughts now, dang, what am I going to do after track and field? So think about long life goals and dreams that you may have. So I would just say seize the opportunity.
That's good advice, for sure. That being said, how do you balance your other passions, right? You have weightlifting. What other passions do you have other than track and field? You being a mom, right? How do you balance that all and still be a competitive athlete?
That is so hard. I just told Ashley that too. I was like, I'm just enjoying being a mother. So sometimes I can catch myself kind of slacking on what I need to do for track. I'm still, although it's going on 2 years, I'm still learning how to balance, being a first time mom, how to balance career, life, what's next, what do I want. I think sometimes you just have to sit with yourself and then let the thoughts or let it come to you. But I also say, I kind of talked about doing a vision board, so that you can actually see what you want or think about. So I was just figuring that out also too, just the balance of everything.
Yeah, I'm always still trying to learn that balance thing too. It's a work in progress, and I'm a few years older than you for sure. Right, so that's kind of a work in progress for us all. You know what I mean? But,
yeah, I think if you surround yourself with people who are kind of or currently already there or where you want to kind of be, I think if you surround yourself with people who can actually put those ideas in your head, that helps also too. Surrounding yourself with that.
That goes along with what we were talking about with Tony last week when I was saying you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
100%.
Right. So do you see how this keeps
coming?
all the truths of living life at Apex just keep kind of recycling, just different people, different ways to say it. It's all the same thing.
But there's another theme that really resonates, and Jessica, you said it 3 times. and it's probably one of Bob's favorite words. It is in his book, Becoming Undeniable, mindset.
Yeah.
You talk about the importance of mindset. What does that mean to you when you hear that word?
The importance of mindset, innovation, creating your destination. So I would say that.
And you said, you know, when you watched the Olympics, young, you saw yourself doing that someday.
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was going to be for running, but you know, I still I still made it though.
Seems to be you manifested your way into the Olympics. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
seriously,
and
yeah.
as my career went, I feel like I manifest a lot of stuff. Before I was sponsored by Adidas, at the time I was sponsored by Adidas, I was telling them I'm going to be sponsored by Adidas. I actually spoke it, and then one day I look back, I say, you know what? I spoke this into existence because I told myself I was going to be sponsored by Adidas. And then at that time, I was like, yes. So you just speak life into yourself.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to share something really cool with you.
You're going to pull the camera. You can't pull that down. It's stuck. So move the camera. I'll move my camera.
All right. So you ever hear Run DMC?
Yes.
So Run DMC is one of the best hip hop groups ever. You see that sneaker up there, the shell-toed Adidas?
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to get it so it's not so shaky.
Daryl DMC is a friend of mine. He's been on the show. He came and did an event here. Run DMC are the first non-athletes to ever get a sneaker deal. Adidas.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about your sponsorship. Adidas. Actually, right now, we are almost at the 1 year anniversary when he sat in here, and you're talking Adidas. So that's wild.
Yeah.
That's absolutely wild. Did you ever think you'd be getting sponsored to do something that you love?
I didn't think about it. So at the time, like being young, not really being into it, you never really think about it. But then when you start seeing the athletes and you get into it as far as what comes with it, as far as apparel, bonuses, things like that, then it's like, okay, this is what I want. This is what's going to help me. So at the time, I didn't have a preference, but I liked the Adidas at the time. So it's just like, whoever picks me up, I'm grateful for the opportunity.
That's incredible. You're a world-class athlete, raising a daughter almost 2 years old. You're going to be confronted with, you know, what do you put her in for activities? What do you do? How do you balance, and you have time to think about this, but how are you going to balance that where you have this world-class resume in introducing your daughter to sports? You ever think about that?
Yeah, I do. She's actually I have this video. I'll end up sending it to you. She's coming
You
out
have
of the
to.
blocks. She's actually already coming out
That's
of the
fun.
blocks at a track meet because I had to do a clinic. And I didn't even know she would get down and actually pop out of the blocks like she did. I'm just like, this little girl. And so she'll get a tennis ball or something and she'll say, shot put. And I'm just like, what? I said, you're so smart. And she'll put it on her neck and just go like that, just throw it. I coach at Christian Brothers High School and they were doing long jump. And she went on the little pit, jumped in the sand. I said, okay. So I always told myself as a parent, I'll kind of introduce her to what I can introduce her to and let her pick. But I think I'll just let her pick what she wants to do. She may be a tennis player or something.
Isn't it so cool? There's so much out there, and you know that's the great thing is let them decide where they're going, and they'll find the path.
Yeah,
it happens.
Definitely.
So this is my favorite question. What advice would you give your younger self?
Ooh, what advice would I give my younger self?
Yeah, I hit a tough one for you, right towards the tail end of this. I really wanted to get you.
Take things serious. Take things serious. Still be a kid, but take things serious. Know your surroundings. Know who you're around. Gain as much knowledge as you can. Good knowledge. Not all knowledge is good. Anything that'll help you progress in life. So I would tell my younger self that is to take things more serious and gain the knowledge needed.
That's a great answer.
That's powerful. You know, there's a lot coming at the younger generation. The world's moving very, very fast.
Yes.
And you blink your eyes and time's gone. So you have your moment, and you've had your moment, and you're continuing to head toward your moment. So that's very, very powerful advice.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I have kind of a last question, right? Looking ahead, what do you envision the future of your career to look like, and dreams and aspirations that drive you now? What would you do that you would hope to make a lasting impression in the world? of athletics?
Win a medal. Because I felt like I felt in 2020 I was supposed to medal. So I would say medal. Eat, do what I need to do, gain the knowledge, get the training, stay focused, still enjoy motherhood and everything, but do what I need to do to medal and make this next 2028 Olympics.
That is quite definitive, and I love hearing that tenacity in your voice. That's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, Bob and I are all about road trips. We may be in a road trip at some point to see a competition, to see you get ready. We're fans of you already.
100%. We doing a lot. We have a lot of road trips actually planned.
We have lots to. Matter of fact, if I knew you were in Nashville recently, you may have seen us on the sidelines. That's really you know when you see somebody that is your world-class athlete, you see all they're doing. You are such a deep individual that is looking to make such a lasting impression and impact on the world, your daughter, the youth. That is just, my heart and soul has always been with working with children and watching them become the best versions of themselves. You're sitting here. You've been the best version of yourself multiple times, and you're continuing to go for it. So you're living what you say you're going to do. And that's a great example to leave for everybody. So this is going to be a phenomenal episode to watch.
Yeah.
I just appreciate having you.
Thank you. I thank you for having me.
Why don't we just kind of wrap it up with how can people follow you and follow along with your story?
They can follow me on Instagram, mostly on Instagram. I could be better with posting. I should be better with that. Just letting people into my world just a little bit. So my name on Instagram is Chef Ramsey. So they can.
Yeah, you're gonna shut down the kitchen someday.
So no, I got that. My weightlifting coach in college used to say, "You're cooking some up, chef." And so I took that and ran with it. So
I like that.
Perfect.
I'm cooking it up in the weight room. I'm cooking it up in the field. So that's where I'm cooking it up in the. So I can take a little bit of culinary, but.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Well, Dennis, I'm thoroughly impressed.
Beyond.
This has been a great episode and certainly right up our alley. What else can you say? But Jessica's living at her apex currently. And striving for newer and newer ones.
100%, and you are a role model and an inspiration to many. And as we are redefining ourselves all the time, you inspire us. So keep doing what you do.
Thank you. I had one question too. I wanted to know with Bob, what was your mindset during your transition? How was it hard? Did you have any doubts?
Oh yeah, doubts every day almost. There would be some days. So I started it, I guess, 5 or 6 years ago. You don't lose, 200, basically it ends up being about 270 pounds of fat that came off my body. I ended up putting about 40 pounds, 50 pounds of muscle on in that period of time as well. So it's literally a recomposition that happened over a 5 or 6 year period. So, that's a huge underhaul. I went from a 64-inch waist down to a 34. And, then I still have another chapter to be written. I'm planning on getting skin reduction surgery and then probably stepping on stage again to compete at a real bodybuilding competition.
That's amazing.
Sanctioned and all of that. So, but that being said, some days I would sit on my chair and, look at my shoes because I had to go and get my second cardio bout in. And I'm just like, I just don't want to do it, and I had to, some days, moment to moment, make the choice to step in the right direction toward my end goal. Right. And it was really, it was not so much physically hard. It was more mentally hard.
Right. Okay.
It's very simple. It's just not easy to do. Right. Measuring all your food. That was probably the hardest thing, was getting all the prep done for each day. That following day was making sure that I had all my ducks in a row. And sometimes I come into work with 4 bags, food, clothes, water, everything. Because once I left the house for the day, I had to make sure that I executed everything throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
And Dennis has seen it, and he's watched it pretty much the past, year and a half.
Yeah.
Very closely. So it was and you have to start with a very compelling reason why you're doing it, because to go through the discomfort of not being comfortable for that long of a period of time takes a special kind of motivation that has to become discipline over time.
That's great. I'm glad you said that. Kind of helps me. That helps me be better. I'm doing that now, and because I do a lot of stuff on my own, it's just like I have to be disciplined with everything. So I'm used to having, hey, you did this, did you do that, did that. Now when you're on your own, it's just like you have to make sure you get that stuff done.
Yeah, you have to build that discipline muscle, just like you build a bicep or a shoulder. It's the same thing, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. Right? I do not recommend a peak week for bodybuilding for anybody. That's a unique form of torture. So, anyway, Dennis, what do you say, man?
It's go time.
It's go time.